Are you the hero or the villain? It's an interesting question, and it's a question that we rarely ask ourselves because we often assume that we're just naturally the hero, if the hero at all, right? We don't realize that we are actually the center point, the focus, the star of your movie, the star of your universe in your life. And so when you come to that realization, then you have to ask yourself, what role are you playing? Are you playing the role of the hero, or are you playing the role of the villain? When we think about these roles, we understand that the role of the hero is the role that eventually the hero will always win. And it's just a matter of understanding how and seeing how the hero actually wins. We also know that the villain always loses, right? It's just a matter of understanding how the villain loses. So why is it that the hero always wins and the villain always loses? Well, it's just a matter of the nature of who you are and understanding the spiritual and fundamental laws of life, right? In reality, when you think about life and you think about the path of your spiritual journey, the truth is at the end of the journey, you win. That's just what it is. You win. But it takes really the spiritual journey and understanding this truth that allows you to just be at a place of ease and understanding as to who you are, being the creator of your universe, and understanding that you are one with the universe, so therefore you cannot lose. But here's the thing, that takes a conscious individual to come to that understanding. When you are conscious, that means that you understand the duality between consciousness and ego. Your consciousness is the part of you that is at its core, right? Pure. The core of you is true, is one that understands your very nature, one that understands the connectedness and the oneness of all things, that you are one with another individual. You are one with the trees. You are one with the animals. You are one with everything that you experience and see. Whereas when you are coming from the place of the ego's job is to create separation, right? Really grounded in identity. But when you identify with the ego too much and you lean into that ego and you are led by the ego, then you are also led by separation, right? The fundamentals of who you are separates you from everything else. Then it becomes a mindset of you versus everything else, you see? And that's when you lean into this nature as a villain. So you have to be mindful about how do you see your relationship with other things outside of you, so to speak. If you recognize the oneness of all things and that you are one with all things and that everything is a reflection of yourself and your consciousness, then you will tend to lean into that consciousness and you will tend to lean into that oneness. Therefore, making you essentially the hero in the movie, right? The hero in your story, because you recognize that how you treat other things and other people is a reflection of yourself because they are one with you. But if you recognize that people are against you or you have to create a space of protecting yourself from other people, and that's all there is, and that's basically the fundamental focal point of your existence, then you're leaning into the role of the villain, right? Because now you have a scarcity mindset. You have a mindset of they are against me. I have to protect myself from them. So recognize this duality that is constantly existing within you. And then recognize also that you get to choose. Many times we don't believe we get to choose because based on our upbringing and how you were raised, the mindset that was programmed within you from your parents or your guardians or your culture and upbringing will leave an imprint on how you think you should live. But when you become at a certain point in your life where you become mature and you begin to recognize that you have a choice and you have a say, once you take responsibility for that, then you can ultimately decide how you're going to decide what reality you're going to create. This is the role of the spiritual journey. When you are consciously on the spiritual journey, you recognize that you get to decide this life. You get to decide the trajectory that you're going. You get to decide how you're going to play this movie out. You get to decide which role you're going to play. Are you going to be the hero, right? Knowing that you are one with everything, therefore you have already won. Or are you going to decide that you're the villain because you're not aware, right? It's almost like you haven't decided. It's almost like this idea that your fate is already chosen for you and there is no free will. It is what it is. Your life is your life, and you have no plans or no control over the direction of your life. So when you understand and you put aside, right, this reality that has been quote unquote predestined for people, and that is because they don't recognize their own power, then you lean into this role of a villain usually. And so it is important to recognize your ability to choose. When you recognize your ability to choose, then you naturally go into a space of choosing the role of the hero and choosing the role of recognizing that you have the power, and that with that power, you also understand the oneness between you and everything else. So lean into that and understand that when you constantly ask yourself every morning when you wake up, every moment that comes, what role are you going to play? Essentially, how are you going to create this life? What life are you going to create? Don't just simply think that life is happening to you. Recognize that life is happening for you. And when you recognize that, then you understand that you have ultimate say, as to the life that you actually create for yourself. So keep going in this journey. Keep going, recognizing that you have already won. You have already won the journey. You're already successful. You're already one with the infinite source. You're already abundant, right? You're already successful. You're already happy. You just have to peel away the excess that is causing you to actually think otherwise. And once you do that, you recognize your true self. That is the spiritual journey. That is the objective here, to recognize your true self. Everything that you wish and dream of being is actually who you truly are. And once you strip away the excess, once you strip away the false reality, the false narrative, the unproductive thoughts, the negative paradigms, when you take away those, what you have left is truth, is you. Thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and also get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.